White Rocket Entertainment, podcast number 946. There's football news, basketball to discuss, bowl games melting down, coaching hire news, just a whole lot of news. And we're talking about it next. From Southern Illinois and Eastern Virginia, where it's, by the way, Southern Illinois is freezing cold right now. I'll just have you know. Got my hat on again tonight. It's the AU Wishbone Podcast. John, how are you tonight?
I'm well, Van. It's pretty frosty here as well.
Last night, being Sunday night, they had the Christmas parade over in Freeburg, the town next to us where Mira goes to high school, because our town is too rinky-dink to have its own high school. And I feel bad for them having to march in that, because we were standing there just like, you know, I had hand warmers stuck in my hat on both ears.
Nice.
That's how cold I was. So not quite that bad today. Here we are, though, in the nice toasty confines of the palatial White Rocket Studios, and time to talk about several things going on. We got new coaches on the plains. We've got basketball games that happened. We got quite a few things, but as always, we start out. Put your thinking cap on, cause here it comes. You ready? You ready? It's the Auburn Fun Meter. It's our weekly look at how much fun it is to be an Auburn fan right now. So on a scale of 0 to 10, John, how are you feeling about being an Auburn fan right now?
I feel pretty good. We lost a basketball game Saturday, but we won one before that. And we got some players in the transfer portal, but we also got some, new hires of coaches. So, overall I feel pretty good, but also I'm a little sad, man, because the regular season of college football is over. That makes me sad. So I'm going to say I'm a 6.5.
Yeah, and I'll say this. I've only seen 2 players listed so far as being entering the transfer portal, although it could be many more. We don't know.
It is many more.
It is many more?
Yeah. We'll go through it.
Oh, I only knew about the backup receiver and the linebacker guy.
I got 7 so far.
Well, that's the show for tonight, everybody. I'm out. I'm going to say, see, that just undercut my entire basis for what my number was going to be. Yeah, I like a 6.5, I guess. But I'm still excited about the new coaching hire and the new staff and
the
direction. In fact, we're going to talk about this a little bit as we go along, because this is probably going to come up at least 2 or 3 times in different contexts. And that is that I was watching Golesh's press conference today. I can't get my hat right. And I really like the things he was saying. He does tend to give very long, detailed answers.
Yes.
But the information contained therein is good stuff.
No, I like it. I like the sound of what he says.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I also tweeted out yesterday, or maybe this morning, right? I kept seeing pictures of him, hugging Cody or Cam or at the press conference, whatever. And I said, I'm just excited to finally have an Auburn coach that looks like a badass. I think the last one we had was maybe Pat Dye, maybe Shug Jordan in his prime when he was busting Nazis at Normandy, But other than Pat Dye and Shug, our coaches have tended to be more genteel, gentlemanly. And Golesh looks like he just whoop your butt.
Yeah.
So I kind of like it. He talks like Nick Saban with the whole process thing. And I got to admit, I kind of like that too.
Yes.
So he's like he's like the bouncer at the bar, and yet he's going to lay out a 10-point line item plan for how we're going to be the greatest football team ever using Nick Saban's terminology. And I'm just like, I'm here for that. Every bit of it, right? I'm here for that. Let's go. Yeah. All right. So we got stuff to get to. We've got, we're coming to the end of a couple of our ongoing patrons get to do fun stuff with Van and John and Boris. And I guess Jared, he's part of the whole family too. And that is the Fantasy Formula 1 is over now. We'll crown our champion tonight. And I guess the regular season.
The regular season SEC pick'em is over. We'll crown our champion.
So we'll crown champ. We got two champions to crown tonight. I don't think the same person won both.
I hope not, but we'll see.
We'll see. And then we have other ones about to start, right?
Yes. That's it.
We got the bowl pick'em coming up, which is the first thing, and then we'll see. So, all right. Well, let's look at our football news. I keep feeling like I'm forgetting something, but I don't know what it could be. Our football news. What's up with the coaches? Before we talk about the players.
Yeah, we'll talk about coaches first. So, since we recorded last time, he formally kept Durkin as defensive coordinator. That was a debate as we recorded last week. And since he's made the decision to keep him. And then today he announced some other names, and then some names were like out on the internet. Joel Gordon is the other co-offensive coordinator with Cody. He's the guy that's actually going to call the plays. Mm-hmm. And Golish had a lot of nice things to say about him today. Tyler Hunick is the offensive line coach. Brad Wilson is a defensive assistant to be determined.
But we're keeping our current defensive line coach, right?
Von K. Williams, yes. I believe that is what's happening. Andrew Warsaw came on as general manager from South Florida. And then Cody Burns, obviously we knew. Oh, wow. Marcus Van Dyke is a guy that was announced as the cornerbacks coach last week.
Yeah.
And then they didn't announce as the press conference, but it was on the internet today that he's bringing in a guy named Jacob Branowski as special teams coordinator. He was at Pitt last year, maybe the last 2 years, but he was at Tennessee with Golish. He was a special teams coach there.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, the stuff at Pitt was good. He did a good job there, so I'm excited about that.
All right, a couple of things. I wonder, since they're replacing at least a couple of defensive coaches, I wonder if some of the negotiation with DJ Durkin was over being able to replace some of his assistants.
Sure.
I could see where that would be a sticking point. I want to keep all of my assistants, and who could blame him? Probably.
Well, and Golish says, I got some guys I got to bring in. I got to have spaces for them. So,
and knowing Auburn, they probably just said, okay, well, your existing defensive guys, we'll offer them like a job, validating parking tickets for the Auburn police if they'll, if they don't have anything else to do. Because we're not going to kick them out. We're not Tommy Tuberville with formerly scholarshiped players in 1999. We're not just going to throw them out on the street, And then Joel Gordon, the offensive coordinator. Yeah, it sounded like he and Cody and Golesh together are kind of like the brain trust, you know what I mean? Yes. And so I like keeping that intact. That's good. Mm-hmm. And then there was Andrew Warsaw is our general manager. So we seriously have a Russian coach and Warsaw as our general manager. Is this the Warsaw Pact or what? I'm so ready for calling it the Warsaw Pact. In fact, I'm writing it down. I'm writing it down right now. I got so many Post-its here. The Warsaw Pact, John.
When we acquire some good talent, expansion of the Warsaw Pact or something.
Oh, man. Oh, that's good. That's good. I'll have to, I'm sure there's lots of places we can go with that. All right. So that's the That's the current news on assistant coaches and the staff. Go ahead and break the news to me, to us all, about who's leaving.
So this is who's we've seen so far that they're saying they're going to put their name in the transfer portal. So quarterback Jackson Arnold.
Nah, yeah, bye.
Wide receiver Perry Thompson.
Wait, I needed that audio clip. Dang. Well, bye from Tombstone. Dang, I got to get that one. Here comes another Post-it, John. I'm drawing up Post-its left and right, man.
Defensive back Amon Lane Gaines. Wide receiver Horatio Fields.
Oh. That's the first one that I've heard that really hurts. I mean, Perry Thompson a little, but he never played much. But Horatio Fields was good for like the 2 games he played in.
He did. Perry Thompson played some the last half of the season, especially.
Well, after he got hurt, after Fields got hurt, but he still didn't do a lot. So
no. And then Rayon Strader is a defensive back we brought in as a transfer last year. That was a highly rated transfer, but didn't play much. The other guy, the other transfer, the Tulane transfer, it was a kick returner, played a lot more. Pleasant. Antonio Coleman was a defensive lineman we signed, and then he'd been suspended.
Oh, he was the guy that kept, yeah.
And then Colton Wheatland was a linebacker transfer from Maryland who didn't play at all. So,
all right, I got to call BS on you, John.
All right.
You had me worried. You had me concerned.
Okay.
I'm not really concerned about any of these. I'm disappointed in Horatio Fields because we never really got to see what he could do. The rest of them, I don't give a crap.
Perry Thompson is somebody. I'm just going to say this right now. Any SEC team would take Perry Thompson tomorrow.
Oh, I know.
So, I mean.
But I'm just saying he'd have to really be different from how he was this past year is what I'm driving at.
Okay. I think he could be. Other than that, I agree. Like I Fields is a good player. I think Strader is a guy who could play. I mean, Jackson Arnold, I wish him all the best at wherever he ends up.
Exactly.
But not interested in seeing him play quarterback for Auburn anymore.
No. Well, I'm just saying I don't see, God forbid, any names on there that would make me start weeping openly on live YouTube is all I'm saying.
It's
and
December
there are
8th.
some that
it's
I would.
December 8th. The portal's opening is actually a couple weeks away. So this is just the beginning.
Oh, no. But it's going to open both ways, though.
It is. We're going to get a bunch of guys in, too.
The portal giveth, and the portal taketh away.
True. All right.
So
Auburn, I want to talk about this for a moment. Auburn turned down the opportunity to play in a bowl game.
Yes.
How do you feel about that?
I am of 2 minds about it. My initial reaction was no, because I want the practice and I just like to see Auburn play football.
Mm-hmm.
And somebody said, but who wants to see Auburn play in the whatever bowl? And I said, I want to see Auburn play anything, anytime, anywhere, in any sport. Except equestrian. I'm really not interested in horses. No offense, Auburn Elvis. But even though it's like the thing we're best at right now, which is awesome. But anyway, no. But then I got to thinking about it. And then Golesh addressed that on his press conference today. And what he said made perfect sense. He basically said only about a quarter of our players are even on campus right now. 75% of them have gone home for the holidays. And, you don't want to drag them back just to go play in the Birmingham Bowl or something. And then plus they haven't even completely put this coaching staff together, much less try to teach anything to the players.
That's what I'm saying. Like, so let's be super clear. If we played in a bowl game, I don't think the new coaches would coach.
Yeah.
I think it would be Durkin and a skeleton crew of existing people, some of whom they've already told, pack up your stuff. You're going to review traffic tickets or whatever you described. So,
it just wouldn't have worked.
Yeah.
By the way, speaking of the Birmingham Bowl, did you see? There was a lot to like about SEC shorts today. The train going to the playoff.
Very good.
But there was that one bit where they're talking about there's a bowl game, and he's like, "That's like it's the Birmingham Bowl," and the guy's like, "Yeah, never mind." I feel bad for Birmingham, but it does. That bowl does have a reputation. I see they played in that nice new World League stadium.
No, the UAB Stadium. It's very nice.
What do they call the dang team league now?
I just think like I'm ready to move on. We weren't going to get the benefit of the practice with the new system and the new coaches, so like that's fine. Just wait till spring, and I want the coaches spending their time and energy on retaining this roster.
That's for sure. Yeah.
Transfer portal stuff and all that. So,
and I mean, I had mentioned, well, Tony Franklin got him and taught him the new offense before the Chick-fil-A Bowl or Peach Bowl, whatever it was. Changed every other year. They change it. Back in 2007. But what I didn't really take into account was he was the only coach that changed, right? He didn't even get to bring his own assistants, which, by the way, we do talk about at length in our most recent book, that the whole Tony Franklin, Tommy Tuberville meltdown. It's pretty neat. It's actually an interesting part of the book that's kind of a bonus before you even get to 2010. But yeah, I just don't think it was practical, and I don't think it was feasible. And even though there are certain individuals that would, really like to see Auburn play, we just have to kind of bow to reality and go, it's not going to happen. So there you go. Thank you, Boris, for that visual.
Well, how about this? I think this will be the last season without a bowl game for a while.
Yeah, I'll take that. I sure would hope it would be the last. I hope it would be the prelude to us being in the playoffs finally.
Yes.
I still can't believe we've never been in the playoffs.
Van, we got to walk before we can run.
Well, but I mean, the year before the playoffs started, we were in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
And then as soon as they changed it to multiple teams beyond just two, that's the last time we were good enough, really. Right. Except for, you could argue 2017, and that's come up a lot this week. Have you seen all the with regard to Alabama and everything that the Alabama's making the argument that the losing the SEC championship game shouldn't penalize you, and I'm like, and yet,
because they won in the regular season.
No, but I mean,
I know that's their argument. They beat Georgia in the regular season, and that counts.
Yeah, I know. But we beat Alabama and Georgia in the regular season and still got kicked out of the dang.
I'm very aware.
And you know what? We even lost to Georgia by the exact same score Alabama lost to Georgia. They can't deal with that. Oh, Alabama fans. While we're talking about Alabama fans,
you're an idiot, and there's probably something wrong with your character as well. You're not just misguided, but you're probably sort of evil, or at least so ignorant that you are effectively evil.
There you go. There's my new commentary on Alabama.
It's pretty good.
You like?
Pretty good.
Do you know who that was?
No.
That was Professor H.W. Brands, noted historian and author. Currently at the University of Texas. And I heard that clip and I thought, he's talking about Alabama fans. So we have a new clip for the show. And it's not from Kingdom of Heaven.
I was going to guess Kingdom of Heaven. But...
yeah, that's the part. That's the part in Kingdom of Heaven where the American guy comes out and talks about people being evil. There was one thing Golesh did say while we're talking about that press conference that I really, really liked. Okay, I didn't hear the whole thing because it went on for like an hour, but I heard like the first 30, 40 minutes of it. He was talking about hiring different positions on the coaching staff and on the support staff. And he says, yes, people would tell me that such and such a person was good or such and such a person was very good. And he's like, that's nice, but we want elite. We have the resources to hire only elite people at every position, and that's what we're going to do. I love this man more every time he opens his mouth.
I liked it too. He also talked about hiring some of the positions won't be filled because some of the coaches they're trying to hire are still coaching.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
did we determine that Summerall down at Florida now is hiring the Georgia Tech guy?
he did, Buster Faulkner.
Okay. So that was
he hired the Kentucky defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. So Faulkner's the guy that was the rumor that he was going to hire for Auburn, right?
Yes.
So when he says he's going down to Florida and Florida demands a high octane offense and he's got to go out and find somebody that can do that, he was going to do that anyway. It's not just for Florida that he's doing it.
Mm-hmm. But at Florida, it's pressure and expectation. They're spoiled by Spurrier. They expect offense.
Yeah.
You can't win boring at Florida.
I know. It's just though he's just showing up with something he was already going to do. It has no relation to Florida. And then he's like, look, I went and bought you something. You know what I mean? It's like if you bought something for your wife and she's like, oh, I've already got that. I don't need it. I don't want it. And you got it sitting there in your car for a couple of days. And then you see your daughter and you say, here, I bought you something special just for you. No, you didn't. No, you did not. You got it out of the back seat. It was already in the car.
It's a difference I would make is that a lot of teams in the country want that thing.
Okay.
That guy.
Fine. Okay, he's still fibbing. All right. I had a question, but I don't know if you want to at this point.
Yeah,
but
ahead.
I was just talking about if we could protect some number of players and keep them from transferring, just like if it was, the franchise NFL player or something, who would you protect? I put down a few, but you may have different ideas.
Well, tell me your few first, and then I'll tell you who else I think.
Well, I always going to lead out with Cam Coleman and Deuce Knight, but I like offense. And then I said, Malcolm Simmons in the second half of the season came on so much that
he was impressive.
Against Alabama. Yeah, he was really good. And that we still haven't seen much of Kane. That was the fourth one of the right. But and then I was like, I'm sure there's a couple of defensive players that you're going to tell me, and that's great. I couldn't think of them off the top of my head. But I thought I don't want to lose Alvin Henderson before he ever even sets foot on the field. So, at least Deuce got to play in a couple of games. So I think those are the four I would start with. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not losing sleep about Henderson just because we haven't seen him. He wasn't good enough to get on the field this year when we desperately needed a second running back. So on defense, Xavier Atkins is number one. he was a second year player this year who led the team in 17 tackles for loss. So from linebacker, I think he is a big time difference maker.
That's pretty good. Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good. I think Jay Crawford is a real young corner. he's a second year corner that's excellent. Really, really good player. I like him. Amaris Williams is a really 4 or 5 star defensive lineman that came in. It's probably going to replace Falk next year. I like him a lot. He would be one to consider. Blockton played all the time at defensive tackle, did a good job. Elijah Melendez is a young linebacker that came on the second half of the season as a true freshman. He made a lot of plays. So that's the guys I would think of. Atkins by 100 miles is the one guy on defense. If I could pick two guys only, I'd pick Cam Coleman and him.
Okay. Yeah. I figured you had at least one or two defensive guys. I wanted to talk briefly about
playoffs. Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me? Playoffs?
Yeah, playoffs, because it's just because it's been in the news the last couple of days, and I thought we would weigh in just a little bit. We had and we're going to talk specifically about the upcoming playoff games before we're done, when we get to our around the SEC type thing at the end. That's always our last segment before we go. But I just wanted to get your thoughts on the playoffs in general, considering the whole meltdown that's been going on where Alabama got in over Notre Dame, and some people are mad about that. And then Notre Dame got bent out of shape and said, well, if we can't be in the playoffs, we're not going to play at all. Now, I think it is somewhat worth noting that Notre Dame is the one team that has a precedent for this, because Notre Dame for many, many years didn't go to bowl games. Right? They would only go to a bowl game if it was like the national championship or something. They never would just go to the CarQuest Bowl or something. I mean, that changed probably in the late 80s, early 90s or something.
Yes.
But before that, they didn't go that much. Maybe earlier than that, because I think they played Alabama a time or two before that. But anyway, so they do have a precedent.
Some of those were in like the Sugar Bowl where they talk about the Alabama.
Yeah. But I mean, I'm just saying there is a precedent. It's not like they out of nowhere did this. They have got a history of doing this. Okay. And then the other thing was a whole bunch of teams, not just Auburn, declined going to bowls. And, somebody was asking me, well, are they going to have to cancel some bowls due to lack of teams? And I said, well, they just may have to roll an 0-12 team out there and say, hey, this is your big chance to get a win on the board this year, boys. Come on, let's do it.
Well, I mean, they're rolling out 5 and 7 teams and having rematches in the regular season in bowl. That's where we are.
Yeah. Well, I was wondering if they were running out of 5 and 7 teams, because it seemed like so many 5 and 7 teams were turning them down.
Yeah.
The last list I saw was like 10 or 11 teams that said no.
Sure. We're 5 and 7 G5 teams is where we are.
God. Well, come on out to the whatever bowl.
I mean,
and see Northeastern State at 4 and 8 play, school for the blind.
I want to say two contradictory things. I can't wait until a year from now when Auburn is in a good bowl game. I'm going to be very happy. And number two, I think bowl games mean less and less and less every year. They really do. They mean zero. And so I get it. I get teams not wanting to go. A lot of those teams that didn't go, it's because they don't have a head coach.
Yeah. Yeah, if your team was good enough to get in a bowl game, there's a good chance it was also good enough that somebody hired your coach.
That's right.
And which is a nice segue into the other part of this I wanted to talk about was I think it is time to abolish the conference championship games. Now, you and I have talked about this before, and you have quite rightly pointed out that there's a lot of money in those games, to which I always reply, I don't understand how there is, because nobody cares about those games anymore. And I think that you could make more money using that Saturday as the first play-in round of the playoffs, because nobody cares about, as you say, we're losing interest in the random bowl games, and we're also losing interest in the conference championship games. Get rid of all of that and just expand out think about it this way. Instead of Alabama and Georgia playing on that Saturday, you could have had Ole Miss and Vanderbilt, or it could be like the first elimination round of getting to the round of 16 teams, or how many ever, or what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say? So yeah, make it like the play-in round. And I guess you make more money, but again, it just seems silly to me. I mean, what if? I mean, it's not going to happen. But let's just imagine Alabama and Georgia get hot and make their way to the finals of the playoff. They're going to really play 3 times.
Oh yeah,
that's just ridiculous. We're already getting Oklahoma. Am I the only person that thinks seeing Alabama and Oklahoma play again is stupid? I don't want to see Alabama play Oklahoma again.
Everybody thinks that. Nobody wants to watch that football game.
I want to see Alabama play Oregon or something.
I want to see Alabama play Indiana.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I mean,
or I want to see Alabama, host James Madison and get beat. I don't want
that would be
a terrible football game we've already seen. But your suggestion is a good one, and I'm sure they are having this conversation today at SEC headquarters. But that game makes like $25 million for the conference because it was the only thing on. I'm sure the TV ratings would be gigantic, and they sold out again. So
Yeah.
They're making a ton of money off of that game. They're not going to get rid of it. That's the problem. Is it doesn't mean anything anymore.
No.
Maybe if it's a thing where if you win, you automatically get the bye, whatever, then people would care.
That's how it was last year, and that kind of. You remember, I was advocating for that last year, and that's how it was last year. And when it was all said and done, and I look back, I said, yeah, I was wrong. I totally admitted I was wrong, because what that did was give us some really bad brackets last year. And so this year, they kind of got rid of some of that and tried to make the brackets better, and hopefully they are.
No, I think the brackets, like we just talked about the Alabama-Oklahoma game, I think the bracket is terrible this year. I think they did a bad job.
Well, the other thing I was going to point out about it is, go ahead.
Some of that is the ACC's fault for being stupid, but
yeah, they almost got left out.
I mean, as a conference, they did get left out. Miami's an at-large team.
Well,
they didn't get in because they won the league.
Well, they almost got no teams in, though, is what I'm saying. And just imagine James Madison is in the playoffs and the ACC is left out. That'd be, that was how close they came. But then on the other hand, it's absolutely ridiculous to say that some of these teams deserve to be there over some teams that aren't there, because there's teams that would win on a neutral field that are not even in the playoffs.
It's not what it's about.
I don't know. But maybe it should be. I don't know. It depends on how you.
I don't like that at all. I want there to be access. I want there to be G5 teams every year, and the best thing that's going to happen in the playoffs in the years to come is when that G5 team goes into some place and wins. If James Madison wins at Oregon, that'd be awesome.
Oh yeah. The thing I keep derailing myself from finishing about this, we can lay it to rest, is I keep saying week after week on here, it's becoming the NCAA basketball tournament. And I always point out that when you win the SEC in basketball, you and your fan base is happy for a week at most. And then where does your attention, or if you win the tournament, you're happy for a Saturday, Sunday, right? And then it's off to the tournament. That's what people remember. And that's where we already are. You and I have warned that it was coming for many years, that if you do a big tournament, that's the only thing people are going to care about. Did you get in? How far did you get? Did you win? That's it. Those three things. Boom. And so the SEC championship game, I mean, you asked me in 3 years who won the SEC championship game this year, I won't even remember who was in it.
Fair.
I won't. So, but I can tell you who was in it 20 years ago, because it mattered back then. The whole system is different now. The whole system has changed. All right. Anything else football? We're going to come back to football in a few minutes, but you want to switch gears and check out what the hoops team has been doing.
Let's go. All
right. So NC State, this was a weird game because Auburn looked great for like 70% of the game. And the other 30% of the game, they looked terrible and couldn't hold on to the ball and were making stupid passes and just handing the ball and handing baskets to NC State. NC State was not a great team, but you can't just give them the ball every other trip down the court and expect to win the game. So we were basically putting NC State on our backs and carrying them to the finish line with us.
They're not bad. They're a good team, but you're right. Way too many turnovers. Way too sloppy.
We'd have beaten them by 25 if we hadn't kept turning the dang ball over.
Yes. And I liked Steven's comments after the game when he said we won, but we played like crap. And so the product sucked. And I think it's the truth. Like it was a win, but we played poorly. So, Hall and Overton had really big games. They both scored, 25 plus and made a bunch of baskets. And
that was the Overton. That's the Overton shooting game. Yeah,
it was. And we came alive in the second half and pulled ahead, pulled away from them. But you're right, it was an ugly game. And I think NC State's not terrible. I think they're going to win a bunch of games in the ACC. So we'll see.
This was the game too where Steven, in the press conference afterward, had that great line where I think this was the one, right, where he said Twitter was telling me to call earlier timeouts.
Yep.
This was this week, right? And he's like, I didn't want to call timeouts because part of our strategy was we're on ESPN. The ads are going to be longer. We don't want to give NC State more time to rest. I'm like, that's pretty good that they game planned around what channel they were on to try to wear down NC State. So he's like, and they missed a bunch of shots late, so it must have worked. He goes, so good on me. Like he congratulated himself on that brilliant game plan. That was pretty good. I really like. He's totally different from Bruce, but he's very likable in his own way. I
like him. I like he's brutally honest right after these games sometimes, and I like that.
Yeah. He's the Lando Norris of of Auburn basketball, I'm afraid. Well, and then we got to talk about the other one. So we knew that this could happen, right? We knew this was a possibility that we would go into Arizona and get shellacked because they are right up there. I mean, they played us like Michigan did, just whatever they wanted, whenever they wanted, and they go on these long runs, and you're just, there was a period like mid to late through the first half that I thought it was going to be like 110 to 30. Honestly, I was like, oh, this is not good. I'm sitting here thinking, is there a mercy rule in basketball? I'm
running clock.
Do you call off the dogs? I mean, if you're Arizona, what do? Or you just keep pouring it on? And then every time I'd feel that way, we'd kind of go on a run. And it was encouraging to me that as bad as Arizona dogged us so much of the game, there were multiple stretches of the game where we looked really good against them.
Yes. We closed the gap.
Yeah. I mean, we actually had the lead early by like 5.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And I had to, and at that point, I was like, believe. And then it all fell apart and we lost by a bajillion. But
you didn't believe hard enough, Fan.
It's all my fault. Yeah, I didn't. I believe that we would get blown out. I believe we'll get blown out. Yeah, just our problem is we can't do a whole lot against teams that are really tall. We just can't. We knew that was going to be a problem this year when we saw the roster taking shape. And it's this, that, by the way, go ahead and let's finish this thought, and then I have another one of my rants. But your thoughts on the Arizona game, just in general?
Well, I think you're right about the height thing. It's an issue with both Michigan and Arizona. Arizona's in the top 10 in the country in size, and our center is solid. Our backup center, isn't playing and isn't going to play apparently at Purim. He just needs to put on more weight and muscle. So we're playing other guys out of position at backup center. We're playing Sway and Jovic. And, in this game, like when Hall, had a good game against them in the regular season last year, but I think they basically said, we're not letting him get anything in this game. That was kind of Arizona's plan. It's like, we're not letting Hall get anything. And then they're a team that doesn't shoot threes. They're an interior offensive team with all their size. And that's a real problem for us. We can't defend that well. And they're great at that stuff. So that was a real matchup problem for us. And then I think defensively, Arizona was very impressive in this game. We had real problems getting baskets, even getting good shots off against them. For stretches of the game. We couldn't get a freaking decent shot off. So that was, but I think also we didn't handle some of it well. We didn't handle the trap well and that kind of stuff for parts of the game. That was very frustrating. I do think, losing is one thing. Getting your brains absolutely beaten in and not being remotely competitive is something else. And we've seen that twice with this team. I think they, at times in games like this, they miss guys like Cardwell, and it's not because of his defense or his size or whatever. It's because of his, the kind of leader he was and that kind of thing, where he could get the team to settle down and rally around and stuff. And I think when things go bad for this team and they're sliding, then it's tough for them to find their footing and get back. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and when they play,
they don't have a real natural leader. I mean, Tahad to a degree is trying to be, but he's just a sophomore, and he's only, and he doesn't know these guys that well yet, relatively speaking. So it's
and you could see it wasn't working on the floor. And so I just think like this is going to happen some with this team when we play. And again, we're talking about Michigan and Arizona are probably 1 and 2 in the best teams in the country. So I'm not losing any sleep about losing to those games, other than the fact that this game was at freaking 10 p.m. Eastern time, and I actually did lose sleep staying up and watching the whole game, and then being upset at 12:30 or whatever when it was over. But they're a really good team, but they beat Florida. They went on the road, beat UConn. They've beaten some other good teams. There's going to be no shame. And if they and Michigan are playing in the Final Four in a couple months, we'll be like, yeah, we saw that coming. So,
oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we played Houston when they were number 1.
Yeah.
We played Michigan. We played Arizona, about to be number 1. And then we're about to play Purdue, who was number 1. So we're just having this tour of number 1 teams.
But even like, again, St. John's, NC State, those are like, top 30 teams in the country. They're going to be good in the NCAA tournament or whatever. So it's not like Auburn's can't hang with any good teams and has real problems as the SEC schedule comes. I think it's certain kinds of matchups, and also there just may be a league of level of team that we're just not on their planet this year. We can hang with the the first, second round NCAA teams, but we're not going to hang with the Final Four teams maybe.
Well, and there's every chance that those 4 teams we're playing could be the Final Four teams.
Mm-hmm.
We could have had a tour of the Final Four. That'd be crazy.
Yeah.
Just let's put a marker here. Make a note. If next March the Final Four is Houston, Purdue, Michigan,
and
Arizona. Yeah.
Here's the other thing. I think for this team, starting over with one player, bringing all these new guys. Yeah, I think Steven said this. Schedule may have been a little bit aggressive. Okay, just tone it down a little bit. This is a schedule you play with the team like last year's team, and we don't have last year's team. So
exactly.
Steven talked about it. They played NC State on Wednesday. They had 2 days to prepare and travel to Arizona. So
that's crazy. No, I mean.
Arizona had a week and was playing at home.
Well, and that crowd, I mean, they had a crowd every bit as loud as any I've ever heard. Although U of A is not the greatest cheer I've ever heard, but okay. My observation, I said this on Twitter a few days ago, and it's gotten a lot of play, positive and negative, is that I just reminded people, I said, this Auburn basketball team would not be doing any better if Bruce were still coaching. I know that's obvious, I thought, but I think some people need to hear it. We're at the start of what is basically going to be a multi-year rebuild, reload. Bruce knew it would take a multi-year commitment starting now. And I think there's several reasons he retired, but I think one of the reasons, and this is just me guessing, just based on what I've seen, I think one of the reasons he retired is he knew that they were back at the beginning of a cycle again, and he was going to have to stay for 2 or 3 more years to see it through, or he could just let Steven do this cycle, which hopefully we'll do. Because I mean, if you think about it, that's how Bruce has done it over and over. He cycled all the way up to the 2019 Final Four team, and then it sort of went its separate ways. And then we cycled up, had a couple of lean years and cycled up to 2022. And then those 2 guys went to the NBA, and that team kind of fizzled down. And we cycled up. We brought in Broom. We brought in Chad. We brought in the very, Denver and all. And we're on kind of a 3-year cycle. Now, I had people getting in my face and saying, good teams, great programs, whatever, they're great every year, but that's demonstrably not true. There's been years that Duke was down. There have been years that Michigan State was down.
Time out.
Good.
We're not down. Okay.
No.
We're going to make the NCAA tournament. We're going to finish the top. So this is the part where people are being silly.
Yeah.
Auburn basketball is not going to be a national championship contender every year forever. Okay. If you think that.
And nobody is.
No,
nobody,
some of those people are. Some of those people arguing with you are.
Or what?
But anybody that's arguing with you about this believes that we should be up here every year is a little delusional, I think.
Right. No, I agree. Right. No, I'm saying even the best teams are not up there every single year.
Yes.
And I'll even say this about Alabama. They've done a remarkably good job like the last 3 years of maintaining being really good. So good on them. And Nate Oates is a hell of a coach. There's no doubt about it. But they're not going to be in the Final Four every year.
No. Nobody
is. And, these Alabama fans that jump in with these kind of opinions.
You're an idiot, and there's probably something wrong with your character as well. You're not just misguided, but you're probably sort of evil, or at least so ignorant that you are effectively evil.
Yeah. So cut it out. There you go. All right. I think we are to the bowl pick'em. Let's find out how that all played out. What do you say? Tell us let's crown our champion, man.
So we have two things to do here. First, we're going to talk about the SEC regular season pick'em. We had a large number of contestants in this. It was really fun this year. The winner, who went 110-18 picking SEC games this year, Cato the Barner.
Cato the Barner,
number one.
Cato.
Auburn football's Elvis was second, 2 points back. Remember, it was 1 point heading into last week. And then Show Me Your TDs was third, tied with Hugh Gone. And then T. Ward's picks, Why Can't We Have Nice Things? The Dulcet Tones of Philip Marshall. W.D. Mandy, Vote of Confidence, Tony the AU Tiger. That's the top 10. So congratulations to all of them. Very exciting.
You left me out. I had to be in there somewhere.
I'm sure you're right there. Boris. But thank you for everybody who participated. It was a really fun group. And as Van mentioned, we are getting ready to now do the bowl pick'em. So this won't just be the SEC games. This will be all the games straight up. You pick the winners, and whoever picks the most winners wins. And I'm going to send the invite out tonight. So when you hear this, you should, if you're a patron, you should check your email for the ESPN Capital One Bowl Pick'em. And then I would urge you to get your bowl picks in now. Bowl games start Saturday.
Woo!
You must
already almost bowl
Saturday the 13th. You must get your bowl picks in this week if you want to get the maximum possible points.
There's bowl games the same day as Army Navy?
Yes.
Huh. Okay. All right. So let's get it done. You got the emails, you're sending out the invitation, so that's awesome. All right, we've reached a time. We've crowned our winner, Cato the Barner, from the college football regular season pick'em, and now it is time to crown the champion of the Fantasy Formula One League. We had the last race at, I believe, Abu Dhabi on Sunday, and of course, in real life, the world champion is changed for the first time in a long time. It is Lando Norris. And by the way, John, it's just crazy to me. Since 2013, all right, so 2013, Sebastian Vettel won his fourth. And then after that, in 2014, Lewis Hamilton started winning. Lewis won 14, 15. His teammate Nico Rosberg won in 16. And then Lewis in 17, 18, 19, 20. And then Max 21, 22, 23, 24, Verstappen. So other than that 1 year with Nico Rosberg in 2016, It's been nothing but Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen since 2013, since we played in the national championship game against Florida State. And so this is the first new champion in a long time. And by 2 points. So congratulations to Lando. I was very excited. I was sad for Oscar Piastri, the teammate, but at McLaren, but happy for Lando. Now, here's how our fantasy league based on this played out. Our great winner, Formula MK2, Michael Kirshner, you are the champion. He won it going away with 5,004 points ahead of 4,344 in second place. And Michael did it by somehow being able to snag both McLaren and Mercedes as his constructors early in the season when it was possible to do that. His team consisted of those two constructors and then Lando Norris, Isaac Hadjar, Nico Hulkenberg, Oliver Behrman, and Carlos Sainz. That's a pretty good lineup right there.
Yep.
Considering that the game really only lets you take you could really get two expensive picks with this game. And usually people get like one really good driver and one really good constructor. But he was able to get one really good driver, several pretty good ones, and two good constructors. So that was just impossible to be overcome. So great job, Michael, on managing your team, putting together a great lineup. Second place was me again. This is like the third year I've gotten second. It's really annoying. With War Eagle Racing, I too had Lando Norris. In fact, I had pretty much the same lineup. I had Ocon instead of Hadjar, and I ended up getting more points than him this week. But I had Haas as my backup, as my constructor. And then third place was Michael Kirshner's other team, the Piastri team. Lane Middleton in fourth. Mandy Thompson's all burnout in fifth. My other team in sixth. John Stubbs, Pearl's Pit Crew in seventh. Rob Morgan's Vesper in eighth. Brett Wiggins Racing Team in Team Racing in ninth. And Eric Morgan's Mississippi Racing 2 rounds out the top 10. All right, so we will let that particular activity rest for a few months, and come March, we'll fire it up again, and we're going to have whole new cars. It's going to be a whole new ball game. We don't know who's going to be good, so that's going to be fun.
It'd be fun, be chaotic and different, and looking forward to the challenge next year.
Like, the word is that Aston Martin was so bad this year because they've been putting everything into next year. And they even brought in Red Bull's aerodynamic designer to run their team now. So Lance Stroll's dad is just like spending money that he's got. So that's going to be very interesting. And I'd love to see Aston Martin be good, because Lance Stroll's not going to be good. But imagine Fernando at like 70 years old, like Brad Pitt in the movie, getting the championship. I would just love for Fernando to get his third world championship at age whatever he is.
It'd be great.
It would
really
be so
fun.
good. Plus, we're going to have a U.S. team, another U.S. I know Haas is a U.S. team, but it's not. We're going to have an actual red-blooded American U.S. team next year with Cadillac, with basically Andretti, and two of my favorite drivers coming back in Checo Perez and Bottas. They're going to be fun. All right, we got to thank the patrons. Excuse me. The AU Wishbone podcast is presented to you ad-free thanks to all of our great patrons via patreon.com. Visit www.auwishbone.com and click on the big orange button to become a patron. Here are the fine folks. Well, I've actually instituted a new policy, John, for the patrons. I don't know if I haven't had a chance to tell you yet. I just put in this afternoon, but we've got three spots available for title patrons who can actually sponsor segments of the show, such as listener questions or guess the game or worst coaches in the world or whatever. And so right now, Samuel Salvatore, whether he knows it or not, because of some things he's suggested to me, he is sponsoring Worst Coaches in the World. And we're really, really glad to have. He may not want to do that. And I'm sure he'll let me know when he hears this. Like, no, change me to something else. And that's whatever you want, Samuel. You're the man. But we've got spots available. So if you go to www.auwishbone.com, click on the big orange button, go to the Patreon page. It'll lay out all your options. But remember, the main thing you all get is that the show is commercial free, and we're always going to be commercial free as long as our patrons can keep us going without them. So, our patrons include the fine folks who keep us on the air. They include the great, as aforementioned, Samuel Salvatore. His segment is coming up, but you will remember because it sounds something like, he says, I'm the #1 fan of Worst Coaches in the World. All right, we'll leave it at that. We also have to thank Logan Chilton, who reminds us, that Van hasn't got the soundboard working right. What do we have to sacrifice to be Auburn fans, John?
So what do I sacrifice?
What do you?
Everything.
Oh, it's so true. It's so true. Ben Spooner. Oh, the soundboard is so messed up tonight.
Blasphemy.
It is. Carl Von Drunker, Chris and Clinton Stewart. Mercer was sufficiently hated last week. That's true. Earl Ricks.
Is it though?
Yeah, I don't know. Phil Amthor now giving Van and John a break from the no sound clip since the dismal years are over. I hope so. Richard Stevens, the great Richard Stevens, we love. Steve Trewick, we love the Richard Stevens. We love him. They're great. Steve Trewick, Ann Pridgeon, Shane Bailey, Susan Trewick, Willie Carden, we love the Willie. Matt Flowers, play it again, Van. I guess that would be.
My head hurts, my feet stink, and I don't love cheese. That kind of morning really was that kind of
Okay. Gary Grant, a.k.a. AU fan at KSC. William Morgan, Bradley Blackman, Eric Morgan, Michael Kirshner. If Carol Shelby could see Ole Miss fans lately, that's true. He would say, hey, where did my...
I don't speak Italian, but he ain't happy.
For some reason, I was thinking that button was orange, and I was like, where did the button go? But it was green. Let's see. David W.E. Salmons, Esquire. That reminds me, I need to watch Ford versus Ferrari again. That's a great movie. Harry Zager, G-Money, Rich Reimer, Steve Harlan, Wes Atkinson. We're...
they just say that we're some dogs, honestly.
Again. A few more patrons, then back to the authorities. Catherine England, no one fights like Gaston. War Eagle always. Mickey B, 3 Monkeys. Winston Body, defending fantasy F1 drivers and manufacturers champion Lane Milton. Lane, not anymore. You finished in the top 10 just like I did, but we take a knee to this year's new champion. Brandon Smith, Daniel Odom, 2008-2009 Taliban Wrangler world champion. I like it. That's impressive. H-Town Danny, Chris Hilton, Ben Bloodworth. Oh, that reminds me for some odd reason. Dragon Con guest invitations went out again, and Jared and I got invited. So we will be back at our tables and back doing panels, I'm sure doing the James Bond panel or two, and doing our other stuff. So if you're going to go to Dragon Con in 2026, you can catch up with Jared and me and of course, Kathy and the rest of us.
If you're going to go to Dragon Con and Auburn Baylor.
So come on over to Atlanta, go to the Auburn Baylor game, and then stop by, get you a 1-day pass and go into Dragon Con and come up and see us up on the 4th floor. It'll be great. And I'll sell you a bunch of books. Ben Bloodworth, Bob WDE Salmons, Auburn University debate team 74-75, and current Sleazy Shyster. Algo Rhythm and Blues, Rusty Owens, Goodbye Hugh. Goodbye Hugh. Hello, happiness. Luther and Kelly Ottaway. What would the Terminator be called in his retirement? The X-Terminator. There you go. There it is. There it is.
There they are.
That's it. Todd Robinson, a.k.a. undisputed 2012 doubles badminton intramural champion. Oh, who would dispute? I've heard that some are disputing it, but we'll leave it at that. Chad McDowell, Auburn football's Elvis, who I believe you said finished second in the bowl pick in the SEC pick'em. Nice job, Auburn Elvis. Auburn football's Elvis. Wade Ward, Reynolds Wolf, Philip Martin, Jeff Hunter. A great day, comrades. We sail into history. I like it. Timothy Russell Milling. Is that Battleship Potemkin or is it something else? I don't even know.
I think it's Hunt for Red October a little bit.
Oh, Hunt for Red October. They both involve communists on a ocean going vehicle during a conflict. Yeah. I know. I do. All right. Dang, another Post-it. Here we go. I'm putting well by, and I'm putting Red October. I knew there was something else I wanted to get some audio clips from, and I got all this space freed up now because all the missing freeze is coming. That's all been deleted. So I got room now. I can add stuff like Red October. All right. Timothy Russell Milling, Randall Walker, David Simpson, Josh Teal, Tony Perry, Rob Morgan, Patrick Williams says the AU wishbone.
Whether you like it or not, learn to love it.
Yeah.
Because it's the best thing going today.
Woo! Shannon Butson, Construction Tiger, Papa Todd, Cato the Barner, Stephen Houston, Kevin Mahan, Blake Heron, Sarah Hines, Sasquatch, 7 times North American hide and seek champion and 2025 AU Wishbone men's basketball champion. Wonders if Coach Golesh can get me into. Dang it. Sasquatch always gives us just enough that I can't quite see it all on my screen. It's killing me. It's like the amount that he can put in is just slightly more than the amount I can actually see. Tim Pittman, your third banana co-host tonight, Boris the Tiger. What? Charles Mooney. I tried to see an Alaskan eye doctor, but it was an optical illusion.
Ow.
Man, that hurts. That hurt me. You
can't be serious, man. You cannot be serious.
I think he's serious. David D, Auburn Blue, Dr. Crackham, Bill Weathers, Vegas lost to Michigan Monstars points difference champs. Okay, I don't quite understand that, but whatever. Walt is ready for actual offensive game plans, I guess, as opposed to offensive game plans, because we all know the average Ruski doesn't take a dump, son, without a plan. That's fair. Okay, what's that from? Rambo?
Red October.
Red
October. Admiral says that.
I gotta get some.
Russian go take a. It's Fred Thompson too.
Senator Thompson. Okay. Antoine Morris, ABB, Wiggaber, the 2005 Auburn University Intramural Horseshoes champion. Tyler Ward, 2025 War Ready Bracket champion. Mark Squire. Cue the anthem, boys. You know who's number one. Auburn, number one. All right, there we go. Can go on all night. John Stubbs, Alex Wynn, Kenneth Britt Raines, the barbecue.
You have failed me for the last time.
Probably not. AKA Auburn Dad for life. Clay Henson, Justin Bean, James Taylor, Ruth and Darren Sutherland, Stephen Thompson, Ben Amos, Spanky, the 1991 Auburn University lacrosse team goal percentage leader at 66%, 2 goals on 3 shots. Hey, I'll take it. Chris Como, Darren Pyle, Theodore Gary, David Smiley, Trevor Johnson, Royce Alvarez, college equestrian expert Auburn Elvis. AU falling up, John Otsuki, Paul Banks, and MVP captivating Kathy Bright.
Your love of the halfling's leaf has clearly slowed your mind.
Ben Regas, Bobby Polite, Elizabeth Donald, I'll buy this for $1, Rich Hammett, Chris Braun, Alex Brown, Siberian Tiger. Ooh, Boris, I thought you were a Siberian Tiger. Slinko family, Daniel Witten, Tim Saul, Jim McCrory. Oh boy, here we go. I will lick the toes of you. I will not lick the toes of you. I do not like those toes of woe. I'm a tiger. I'm not a hoe. Okay. I figure I could fit Lane in there with all that. New York Tiger shows Santa does not pay to park his sleigh because it is always on the house. I feel like I nailed the delivery of that one. I try to.
That's impressive.
I try to give proper representation as best I can to these.
You brought it.
These master works of humor. Steve Bailey, CT Tiger, Jim Myers, Trey Jackson, Howard Franz, Peter Wang, Willie Mose, Zach Doran, and Chris, plus our one-time anonymous donors and others. We all and of course our free members who are there just to show some support morally. Go to www.auwishbone.com and help keep our program commercial free. And Samuel Salvatore presents coming up, we have listener questions and Around the SEC expanded edition. But first, it is time for our weekly look at the punks, jerks, and ne'er-do-wells who collectively represent this week's worst coaches in the world. And this week, Samuel has sent in several good suggestions. He suggests we have to add Hugh Freeze again, blaming Jackson Arnold for why he isn't coaching when you didn't start him against Kentucky and it was the sack derby. Learn a lesson. Don't be a narcissist, okay? Still blaming officials. I've heard enough. Not realizing you can change up the quarterbacks if one isn't producing, but in his system it didn't matter. Still saying we were close when you should know that it counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. That's loser mentality, which is what he clearly taught this talented roster and still just continues to make a fool of himself in interviews. Take your money and run. And then Samuel suggests, okay, honorable mentions. Kalen DeBoer can't run the football, doesn't use Ryan Williams enough, has to have officials bail his team out of embarrassment, has not really followed suit well behind Nick Saban, could be back-to-back 4 lost seasons if they don't win the national championship. Who would have thunk it? He's right.
Ooh.
4 lost seasons, 2 in a row. Didn't take the escape route to Penn State while there was still a chance, and now he could have pulled the Bill Curry. He did not, in fact, pull his Bill Curry. Now is going to be eaten alive by the worst fan base in America. And, John, you had a suggestion, a nomination this week.
My suggestion was Mark Pope, the Kentucky basketball coach who has flames underneath his seat. The natives are not happy.
They were so happy when they hired him, though. What's happened? What's gone wrong?
I think I've read some stuff about this. I think they did a bad job. They spent a lot of money on this team, but they didn't do a good job. They have, one center and one point guard who can shoot, and they got another center and a point guard who can play defense, but they are not the same people, and they can only play one of them. So they're either they're going to say, we can't play any defense or we can't shoot. And whichever one they pick, it's a problem for them. And they are not.
I was told this was going to be a spectacularly good Kentucky team this year, probably win the SEC.
They may get it together, but right now their fans booed them in New York or wherever they were the other night.
Wow.
Like, it was bad. And then he literally, the AD dragged him out of the press conference because reporters were asking really tough questions, and he said some ugly things to them. So
wow, I missed that.
It is capital B bad.
Well, you know that the official fight song of Kentucky basketball currently they changed it. All right, I like all those suggestions. Thank you, Samuel, for your input and your suggestions and nominations, and John, I like yours too. And so those collectively are this week's worst coaches in the world. And this is where you could be the title sponsor for
Thank you. Order. Questions to the Prime Minister.
It's time for listener questions. Dun, 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 on the AU Wishbone podcast.
What's in the mailbag this week, John?
All right, we got 2 questions this week as we head into the off season. So if you have questions for Van and I, please send them to auwishbone@gmail.com. Our first one is from frequent emailer Bill Miner, who says, "Hey guys, since we keep bringing up that our new coach is from Russia, it made me think he came from Russia with Love, which was a classic Bond movie. I was also thinking that Skyfall worked for Potato and Thunderball for Cameron Petway. Any others you can come up with now on the spot for Auburn players or coaches associated with James Bond?" He says, "For King and Country, Bill." All right, you know the James Bond library better than I do. Is there another?
You know who knows it even better than I do is Jared.
I know
Jared will email us in or text us in his thoughts on it, and I look forward to that. I know because he'll listen to this and he'll do that. But all right, let's see. So Dr. No, is there
Derek Brown?
Yes. Oh, that's so good. All right, Derek Brown, Dr. No. We did From Russia with Love. Goldfinger. Have we had a gold or a finger or anything like that?
Amy Coleman?
Yeah, for real. All right, Thunderball we did. I'm just going to get a few here. I'm going in order, though. So next would be You Only Live Twice. Do we have anybody go and come back? Transfer away and come back?
Nate Hardy is on the current team, started at Auburn and left and came back.
There he is. There they are. All right, let's finish out the 60s into the 70s, and then we'll kind of see what Jared comes up with. So after that is On Her Majesty's Secret Service. That doesn't really lend itself. And then Diamonds Are Forever. That could be a lot of our current players with their. Did you see Ashton Daniels had his number in? Yeah, so we might go there. And then the last one is Live and Let Die. Oh, that could be a good. That could be like an Andre Bruce or a Tracy Rocker.
That could be Smoke Monday or who's the Auburn player who like knocked the other guy out in that?
Yeah, I know you're talking about. I can't remember. But, well, Greg Staples did it back in the 80s. But
I was gonna say Greg Staples. Somebody else will come up with another answer for this too.
There's some really good ones. That's good. We could go on all night, but I'll leave it at that. And like I said, I'm sure some of the people in the Jared will give us some good ones too.
Now our last question comes from Johnny Dent, who says, "John and Van, so Golish runs a fast tempo offense. We of course saw that before in the first half of Gus's tenure, but once the defensive substitution rules changed, came in as a response, we saw the effectiveness of an up-tempo offense crater, and Gus used it less and less. Also, it comes at the risk of a quick 3-and-out, straining your defense. So sell me on Golish's version of the up-tempo. Where's the upside to justify the risk? Thanks, Johnny Dent."
Well, I mean, that's the eternal debate. Offensive coaches that like to go fast only look at it from their perspective, and the defensive coordinators always hate it. And then it's up to the head coach to kind of have to – you got these two diametrically opposed assistants, and you're having to be Jack Pardee when you've got the Eagle Buddy Ryan and Kevin Gilbride. Yeah.
I think in Golish's case, it works because he's created an entire organizational philosophy out of being aggressive. Like his thing is, we're going to attack, we're going to be aggressive, and he wants a defense that complements it. Again, we talked about this a little bit with the Durkenhire thing. He doesn't want a bend but don't break thing. He wants a defense that is going to be aggressive and create turnovers and negative plays, create turnovers so the offense can get the ball back and keep attacking. That's what he wants. That's what he wants out of his defense, not a sit back and let the other team move down the field in 8 minutes or whatever. So, and hold them to a field goal. He wants the defense to be aggressive and create an attacking mentality like the offense is going to. And I think on offense, he spreads teams out. But again, we've talked about this. They run the ball a lot. They ran the ball 40 times a game at USF and at Tennessee, but with a good yards per carry average. And they did it because they wore down teams and they went fast, but they also throw the ball a lot out to the sides, and they're making the defense sprint to the sideline 50 times during the game too. So I think it works the way he does it. The substitution rules have changed since Gus did this, and the way Gus did it, it did get less effective. But I think part of the goalish thing is it's not we're going to do it when we have the opportunity to go fast. Like Gus was always, we get a first down, then we'll go fast. Goalish's thing is they're just going to go fast. Like, again, the 2 years at Tennessee, the 3 years at South Florida, they were first or second in pace of play every one of those years. Most plays run during the game.
It's going to be exciting. It's just going to be fun to watch our football team next year.
It is. I think the offense is going to be fun. And I think it's going to be a problem for some defenses that we play who are not used to it. And I think we're definitely going to catch some of them, but also we're going to be able to wear some of them down.
And with better talent than what he had at South Florida, and more equivalent to Tennessee, which was a playoff team or that equivalent when he was there.
Yeah.
The other thing that Golesh said at his press conference I was going to mention was exactly that. I think it was Jay Tate asked him, although he identifies himself as JG, so whatever that means. He asked him about hiring Durkin. And he said, Golesh actually said, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to say this, but he was always who I wanted. He was my first choice, and we just had to work it out, get the deal. So it was never a case of him getting foisted on him by Cohen. He wanted Durkin.
Well, but also agree, but he had to sit down and have this conversation with Durkin that we just had and say, this is what I want out of the defense. Can are you willing to do that? And Durkin, of course, was like, yeah,
let's do it.
But also he has to tell Durkin, don't look over here and give us an ugly look when there's a fast 3 and out, because it's going to happen.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and, look, they played pretty darn well this year with a lot of 3 and outs because the offense wasn't doing anything. I'd rather go 3 and out when the offense is otherwise clicking and accomplishing a lot and scoring some points, and then an occasional 3 and out. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Because again, you make this team 7 to 10 points better on offense, which isn't asking a whole lot, and we're in the playoffs.
That's right. This team is going to be way better on offense. Way better.
The biggest loss our football team suffered was to Alabama. Was to Georgia by 10 points. That was the biggest loss we had this past year. 10 points to Georgia in a game that we were in every bit. So, all right, time to go around the SEC.
It is.
All right, so they're going to do a show, because they do a show about everything now, to officially release the 2026 SEC football schedule. And that is December 11th at 8 o'clock, presumably Eastern, on the SEC network.
Yep.
Good place for it. We already pretty well know what our schedule looks like. I guess we'll just find out the dates.
Yep.
So, in fact, all you have to do is say 2026 Auburn football schedule, and I left off the 6. I'm just not doing really well here, but I want to do this because we already know most of them. We're going to play Baylor in Atlanta. We're going to play Southern Miss in Auburn. We're going to play Jacksonville State in Auburn, and then in alphabetical order, we don't know the regular order. We're going to. I'm sorry.
Southern Miss, good this year. Jacksonville State, good this year.
Great. And then we're going to play at Alabama. So don't look for a Iron Bowl win for Golesh in his first year. And then we have Arkansas at home, Florida at home, LSU at home, Vanderbilt at home. Again, these are not in the order they're going to come in. But we play Arkansas, Florida, LSU, and Vanderbilt at home. And this is a good Vanderbilt team. And then we go to Georgia, to Mississippi State, to Ole Miss, and to Tennessee. So if if you miss those halcyon days of yesteryear when we used to play Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, and Alabama, they're back. But not only that, plus we played Ole Miss and Mississippi State. Not only that, we also get the greatest Vanderbilt team in the last century and LSU.
Who will be better next year.
I don't want, and then throw in Arkansas too, just because for craps and giggles, right? So, yeah, our schedule next year is going to be hard as hey, as they say. I mean, I look at that schedule and I say, oh my God! But I also say, bring it on and let's go. Let's see what we can do. Sure, it's going to be. We're not going to be bored.
Nope.
There's nary a cupcake. Even the cupcakes are kind of like you'll choke on them a little bit.
Well, we'll have plenty to talk about when we know the order, and we'll even find out some of the game times next week, probably. So,
dang. All right. Georgia beat Alabama 28-7, which I just want to laugh a little bit, but
laugh while you can, monkey boy.
That's right. Let's see. Indiana beat Ohio State. I missed the ending of this game. I know that I saw Ohio State miss a field goal. And I guess Indiana just kind of ran the clock out then after that or something.
Indiana's defense held them down.
Yeah, that's awesome. How did Indiana get to be so good? What did they do? My understanding is they have a bunch of 3-star players.
Yeah, they hired it's probably the best coach in the country, this Cignetti guy from James Madison, and he's turned them into a robotic killing machine.
That's incredible.
And again, Ohio State has the most talent in the country, probably, and definitely the most talent in the Big Ten. Indiana's still in the bottom third of that conference in talent, and they went and beat them. So
that's incredible.
That guy is freaking good.
All right. Reminds me of Gus in 2013, coming in and taking over a 3-9 team and almost coming with a hair's breadth of the national championship.
I hear you, but until this year, Indiana was the losingest program in college football history.
Yeah.
So this literally is like the Vanderbilt analogy. Like if Vanderbilt was the number 1 team in the country and beating Alabama in the SEC title game, it would be this.
Yeah, that's incredible. Duke beat Virginia in overtime. I'm really sorry we're not going to get Duke versus the Dukes in the Dukes Mayo Bowl. That would have been epic.
That would have been good.
Texas just destroyed BYU, Texas Tech, 34%. So am I to understand Texas Tech just went out and bought a whole team? Kind of like the Florida Marlins back in the 90s
they
or whatever.
spent big time money on key positions, defensive line, a few others, and it paid off, and they are excellent. I can't wait to see them play with, Georgia, Alabama, Oregon, one of these other good teams. So
I was going to say, who does Texas Tech have in the first round?
They have a bye.
All right, well, here's the playoff matchups. You actually put it on here.
Well, but I didn't put the
okay. Yeah, they have a bye. The first round buys are Indiana, Texas Tech, Georgia, and Ohio State. 2 of these things are not like the other 2, but that's really weird. I still can't believe how close we came to Vanderbilt being in the playoffs. That just crazy.
So I wish Texas Tech, if Oregon wins, Oregon will play Texas Tech in the next round.
Okay. And Oregon's got James Madison, Ole Miss, Tulane, which is appropriate. Miami, Texas A&M, Alabama.
Rematch. I mean, again, Ole Miss beat Tulane. There's 2 rematches in here. This is why this bracket is bad. Ole Miss already beat Tulane pretty good, and Oklahoma beat Alabama, of course. So.
All right, so let's run through that first thing there. Who do you like, Alabama at Oklahoma?
Oklahoma again.
Yeah, I think so. I think worse.
Well, but I'm going to say that you remember that was one of those games where Alabama had like a 90% chance to win the game based on the stats. Oklahoma had a bunch of fluky stuff, but Alabama's got injuries, and I think they're playing worse now than they were then. And it's at Oklahoma, potentially bad weather outdoors. I like Oklahoma.
SEC shorts. They were unloading the cart, And the guy's like, "Oh, Oklahoma, where's your offense suitcase?" Ah, we didn't bring one of those. All right. So, who do you like? Miami at Texas A&M. Got to be Texas A&M, right?
Yeah, but I of all these road teams, I think Miami's the best team.
Yeah,
I think they're really good. They could go. If that's the one that wouldn't shock me if they won, but at home, you got to like Texas A&M.
All right. I would have cheered for Tulane at Ole Miss, but the script has flipped on both sides. Ole Miss has suddenly become the sympathetic victim of everything, and Tulane is now where you got the two-timing coach that we're kind of aggravated at. So I hope that Ole Miss beats the crap out of Tulane, to be honest with you.
Probably going to happen.
And then James Madison at Oregon. Does James Madison have a chance?
Theoretically, but this is a tough. I mean, that's a tough road to hoe going across the country and playing Oregon. So,
but is Oregon going to amend that Constitution, John?
They are. And again, James Madison's coach just took the UCLA job, so he's coaching in this game, but he's also, mentally on this other place.
Where did he go?
UCLA.
Oh, that's right. Okay. I think it's going to get vetoed. All right. SEC bowl games. The Gator Bowl, Missouri, Virginia. Oh, I have a hard time getting too excited about anything Missouri's been involved in this year. Texas Bowl, LSU and Houston. Man, LSU, if they lose to Houston,
but who for
Lane be coaching them, or are they going to
care in that game? I don't think Lane's coaching. Interim coach is coaching them.
Oh, geez. Music City Bowl. I could drive 4 hours south of here and watch Tennessee play Illinois. That's way too much orange. But then I say that just when Brett Bielema walks out. Whoa, that's way too much orange. So you put 22 more guys out there in orange, it's going to be something. I kind of like Tennessee. I've seen Illinois play a bunch this year. They are quite pedestrian. You remember how his Arkansas teams would just kind of stumble around and decent. They'd stumble around and they'd beat you by 3 maybe. They wouldn't make a lot of big mistakes. They wouldn't do anything that would get you excited. They just kind of, throw a short pass, run up the middle, and next thing you know, they win like 17-14 or something. So I think Tennessee should handle them pretty good, but you never know. ReliaQuest Bowl. This is your reward for the greatest season in Vanderbilt history. That ReliaQuest Bowl year. That's just sad.
They'll sing songs about it, Van.
They what?
They'll sing songs about that year.
They will. Ballads. Mm-hmm. The ballad of the old ReliaQuest Bowl. Versus Iowa.
Iowa, not a fun team to play, and better on offense they've been in past years. This will be a good game, actually.
Okay. I think of Iowa's football team, I immediately fall asleep. That's always my problem.
Fair.
Citrus Bowl. It's not the Capital One Bowl anymore. Texas versus Michigan. Now, there's a marquee name brand matchup, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's big. I'm thinking Texas. What do you think?
Yes. Michigan's really good, but they have a freshman quarterback, and they don't have enough wide receivers and stuff. So I think Texas, if they come to play.
And the Duke's Mayo Bowl, we could have seen Duke versus the James Madison Dukes in the Duke's Mayo Bowl. We will not. Instead, we get Mississippi State, who backdoored in, versus Wake Forest. I don't know how good Wake Forest is.
They're not bad. I mean, they beat SMU. That's probably the biggest win in the regular season. They were like a 7-5 kind of team. But again, that's a first-year coach taking over a bad team. So I think they got a little positive momentum. So we'll see.
You know what they say, though? Wake Forest, woke Forest.
That's not really. That is the opposite of what that school is.
I know. 4,000 Wake Forest, but yeah,
private Baptist school. But
exactly. I just thought it was funny. And then let's see. We've also. Oh no, we got to save that one for last. Boise State. Oh, you said you have a typo. Bose. I'm like the guys that make the speakers. have a
Yeah.
college now. It's like the audio engine, the Fighting Audio Engineers. I was so excited. The Bose Technology Institute, the Fighting Audio Engineers, man. That would have been, I'm sorry. I know you're getting pissed.
It's all good.
Versus the Washington Huskies, as they say. Surely Washington's not going to screw this up.
These very early bowl games, who wants to be there, who's ready to play, who's excited about it. We'll see.
This is what was his name that coached at both schools?
Peterson.
Chris Peterson, yeah. The Chris Peterson Bowl. And finally,
Do yourself no injury.
Yeah, here we go.
And I say you.
2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, CBS. It's the Army-Navy game. John, go Navy, beat Army.
Go Army, beat Navy.
I feel like Army has dominated this series lately. It's been a series of runs, right? Mm-hmm. Navy dominated for several years, and then Army like totally flipped the script and dominated. I feel like we're back to Navy going in. How do you see it?
I mean, I think Navy's a better team this year, but they're both good. This is like I think Navy won 10 games this year, and Army won 8 or 9. So that's 2 good teams. It'll be a fun game.
It'll be fun. It's always a fun game, but it'll be a more of a higher level fun game.
Yes.
All right. And of course, so that our audience that doesn't know understands, John's an Army guy, ROTC, right?
Yes.
And my dad was a sailor for the USS Toledo in Korea. So, we have this is the only thing we're on opposite sides of. It's really cool. It's like we found the one thing we disagree. All right. Any final thoughts before we wrap up for this week?
I just said at the beginning, it's sad to me every year when the regular college football regular season's over. I miss it. I love college football. I love when we have all the games every Saturday. I look forward to it. And it's a long time till it comes back. We got bowl games. Yeah, we got playoff, and we got some 1AA playoffs. There's some good games in there. But I'm a little sad about that, man.
In fact, I saw Illinois State upset one of those mighty Dakota teams.
That was a huge win. Huge win for Illinois State. That was big time.
I got to be honest with you. It could be right down the road for me. I have no idea where that is. we got a bunch of Illinois around here. We got the University of Illinois where Mira wants to go, but we've also got in Champaign, Urbana, but we've also got Eastern Illinois, Western Illinois. I'm at Southwestern Illinois, obviously. And then the one, Eastern Illinois is the one that had the thing we talked about last time. So there's a bunch of them out here. So, all right. Well, we will talk to you guys again in a week, and hopefully we will have enjoyed a very good Army Navy game by then, and maybe find out some more who our coaches are, and hopefully who is and who isn't leaving. And of course, we still got a ways to go on that. So. And we got one more basketball game, right? I know we got Purdue coming up, but we got
play
one more.
UT Chattanooga in Atlanta on Saturday.
That's right. Hoopsgiving.
Mm-hmm.
It's the holiday Hoopsgiving.
That's it.
All right. Well, hoops unto others as you would have them hoops unto you. Our time is up. We thank you for yours. War Eagle, John.
War Eagle, man.